Hello, YouTube. No. YouTube? What? Hi folks. Welcome to a brand new series that I'm doing here on my YouTube channel, which is kind of unlike me. This is almost a pilot, a first for me. The only kind of things that are on my YouTube are music videos from songs that I've released and maybe some other behind the scenes stuff from over the years. But this is a lot more intentional, this series, because this series is born out of promoting my debut album, and it is the first anniversary of the album. So it has meaning it has been out for a whole year, which is insane. Really, to think it's kind of still insane to think that I've independently released my own album. I mean, I've been a singer-songwriter, solo artist for at least 10 years now, on and off. I really want to put that out there. I have not been on the grind every single day at all. And the album You Are Here was in the works for a good 2 years before I sat on it for a year and then decided, you know what, it's a huge ass project, I'm really proud of it. Yes, I'm gonna make mistakes, but this is a learning curve and I'm a team of one, so let's just get it out there to the world and see what I can do with it. So, with all that context lusciously at your disposal, welcome to the first episode of this brand new series where I take you behind the scenes of every single track from the album in each video. And we're going to go in order of the track listing. So today we are dissecting and looking at my song, Trip Me Up. That's me warming up. But before we begin, I have something for you. So I'm gonna do a giveaway just for you. So in terms of this giveaway, where you can get free physical music and merch of my own, all you've got to do are free things for me. I think that seems pretty fair, to be honest. First, you've got to sign up to my mailing list, where the link for that is below in the description box. 2, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, if you're not already, why not? And thirdly and finally, I just want you to comment on this YouTube video, just saying that you've done it, and maybe something you enjoyed about today's video, or maybe you have a question for me about my music. In exchange, I will take care of the rest, don't you worry, I will reach out to you and you will receive a CD of my debut album, a lyric book copy, which obviously features the lyrics to all of my tracks, along with photos that I've taken that are very personal, not only to me, but very personal to the album, that really tie into the meaning of the album and are photos that I had taken during the writing and recording process. As well, you'll receive a handwritten copy of the lyrics of today's song feature, so that will be Trip Me Up, which I have written out and will be sent to you. So this is one of a kind, with all the mistakes included, as well as some like tidbits like stickers and any extra little things that I have accumulated over the years of making music. Could all be yours. Just follow those 3 steps: the mailing list, the YouTube subscription and the YouTube comment, and I'll do the rest. Free of charge. I'll cover the postage no matter where you are in the world. Now, again, this is the pilot episode of this series, so, you know, maybe I'll revise this in the editing and whatnot. But I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A segment where essentially I act as both the interviewee and the interviewer, which, I mean, I'm a girl of many hats, so, you know, any music journos out there or anything, you know, that wanna hire me, wanna give me some work, I'm here. I used to run my own music magazine, you know, girl grown. So, you know, if that's you, get in touch. Anyway, I'm gonna ask myself some questions which I think are good questions and maybe interesting and hopefully interesting. And if you have any questions for me about any of my tracks, including this one, because you know the comment section is alive and well, so let's water it, let's feed it, let's nourish it, then, you know, do ask me. And obviously, you know, I'm doing this for every single song on the album, so if you're like really loving one of the tracks off it and you want to know something about it, let me know, okay? But in the meantime, these are my questions to myself, okay? So the inspiration behind the track, question number 1. That was very Trump. Question number 1. Not the voice. That was a terrible impersonation, but anyway, scrap that. Right. Inspo behind the track, question number 1. All right, cool. So inspiration behind the track. Well, get your popcorn. All right. So I actually wrote the first verse and the chorus back in 2017. Okay, so 2017, what was I doing? I think I was in university, and basically my uni life, I stayed at home, I lived with my parents, so I wasn't living in halls or anything, and I didn't really make many friends at university, I'm not gonna lie. I worked behind a bar, I went to uni and went to my lectures, went to the student bar. To be fair, no, I did make some friends, because I didn't just drink alone in the student bar, okay? I did make some friends, all right? And I would then just stay up late and write music at home. That's essentially the main 3 things that I did during university, whilst also graduating. I did graduate, I didn't drop out. Anywho, flex, I don't know. So I wrote the kind of almost like the first half of the track back in 2017 as a demo, and it stayed as a demo on my hard drive until 2022, when I began writing and recording this album. So during the time when I was in the studio working on other songs, I remembered this semi-written track. I unearthed it, I listened to it, I liked it, which I think says something. If you've written something years ago and you listen to it years later and still respond well to it, then listen to that. And so I got the demo, I took it into the studio with Matt, and we refigured it out. We didn't really add too much to it, to be honest. We added the percussion, which is a drum machine, which is literally just going kind of thing. So actually there's no drum kit on the track, it is just all purely drum pads, which makes it really hard for my actual live drummer Hector to perform, and he does it so well, which is insane. So shout out to Hector, an amazing drummer. And we re-recorded the guitars, the bass line. That was my original, like originally when I doing the demo, it was just the bass line, like doon 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 doon, which I did on, I don't know why I'm doing that, because I don't play the bass like that, I play the bass like a guitar, and I didn't use a bass, I used my guitar for the bass line, of course. And then yeah, revisited it in the studio. I then had to write verse 2, which was very interesting, trying to marry the verse 1 and verse 2 from 2017 version of me to 2022 version of me, so 5 years difference here. However, I remembered very prominently what the song, or slash what the angle I was going for when I originally wrote it, because at uni at that time I was doing some film study module and I was looking at ambiguous films, and I basically wrote a thesis on the virgin suicides. I just loved it and would watch it, and I wrote this track kind of in response to the virgin suicides. And I think once you like read the lyrics to it, or you know, listen intently to the lyrics, and you know what the heck I'm on about, then that will make hopefully some sense. For verse 2, 5 years later, I had to kind of carry on what even that narrative was, and that leads me on to basically what my favourite lyric line of the whole song is and why. Now this is why I have written out the lyrics all by myself so that I can actually look at them and tell you what my favourite lyrics are. In terms of all of my discography, all of my songs that I have written, Trip Me Up in terms of the lyrics are ones that I'm most proud of, because I just think it's something different that I hadn't quite done before. So in terms of my favourite lyrics, this was hard because, to be honest, I would just highlight every single line, I'm not gonna lie. And that's not my ego, I'm just really proud that I wrote something quite different to what I usually write. However, what does take the biscuit, I think, is verse 2, where I say, I come to visit, gift you flowers, but you're not in, so I decide to eat them. Next our bodies are in conversation, how romantic on your mother's couch. And I think I love that just because there's so much imagery and description that I'm fitting in just a few words, to be honest. And there's kind of a cool juxtaposition. You know, I'm going to someone's house with flowers, like a bouquet of flowers, I'm doorstepping someone, clearly like, you know, maybe someone I've had a fling with or something, and they don't answer. So I feel begrudged and I eat them, which, yes, as humans, you know, in terms of free will, we can eat the petals, we can eat the flowers, but the idea of it is repelling, right? You wouldn't do it, obviously, but you could. And I don't know about you, but I have a very strong kind of, when I even think of doing that and imagining to do that, you know, I can almost taste the flowers, and you wouldn't be able to swallow them, surely, like you'd have to spit them out, and I can just almost relive the disgust of it as if I had already done it. Okay, obviously I haven't done that, just saying, disclaimer. But then the next line, next our bodies are in conversation, how romantic on your mother's couch. So obviously I'm writing this kind of from a teenage perspective, where obviously you live with your, you know, you're not living independently, you're living with your parents. So that person then maybe, you know, maybe opens the door, invites me in. Maybe the parents aren't home, you know, and it's a very small, quick window of opportunity that we have in order to, like, you know, play Scrabble. And yeah, for me, I mean, that kind of, you know, takes me back to those school, college years, you know, where your hormones are racing and you're making some really interesting decisions and choices. And here we are now. Okay. Now to round this all off, since we're in quite an intimate setting, in these episodes I want to then perform the track to you. Why do I make it sound weird? I don't know, but whatever. And and I just think that there's a full circle moment here, you know. It's been a year since the album's been released. It's probably been 3 years since I sat down on my own within these four walls and actually wrote this track on a guitar. Just me, the guitar, a microphone and some pen and paper. So I want to play it for you, kind of how it originally became into this world. However, slightly different because I didn't use chords. But today we're going to be using chords. So let's lock in, and this is Trip Me Up, my song by me, Bryony. Enjoy. This town, it follows us, a 1970s classic suburbia. What happened can't be forgotten. Meet me on the roof, watch me jump, watch me jump. won't you dance with me? Take my hand and trip me up, trip me up. I love to dance, won't you dance with me? Take me by the hand and lead the way, lead the way. Taken for a fool again. Now watch me go. I can't believe I can't believe I come to visit, gift you flowers, but you're not in, so I decide to eat them. Next our bodies are in conversation. How romantic on your mother's couch. I thought this time it would be different, but I guess you've gone ahead and ghosted me. So I discuss it with my therapist and she agrees that you're no good for. I love to dance, won't you dance with me? Take my hand and trip me up, trip me up. I love to dance, won't you dance with me? Take me by the hand and lead the way, lead the way. Taken for a fool again. Now watch me go. I can't believe that you've got up and gone and done it all again for me. I can't believe that you've got up and gone and done it all again to me. To me. And so that concludes today's episode. Thank you for joining me in this pilot. I hope it's been okay. But join me for episode 2. We're doing this every single month. So February marks the 1-year anniversary of the debut album. So I thought this is a good place to start with the first track. So then in March, you know, if you're on the same wavelength as me as March, it will be this track number 2, In Between Days, and so on, so on, so on. So if you've enjoyed today and you've enjoyed this episode and you've enjoyed, you know, you think, you know what, Bryony's alright, you know what, I can dig this chick, essentially. But maybe in your own words there, then don't forget to subscribe and like and maybe leave a comment as well, maybe share with a friend, even better. And if you also then join my mailing list, you will also then receive a copy of my album on CD, along with the lyric book, which is pretty cool, all signed of course, along with some goodies as well. Free of charge. I will cover all postage, etc, etc. It's just a little gift to celebrate my debut album anniversary, because we love music, I hope. Okay, see you on the next one.